let me share with you this little thing that we call above the line and below the line thinking. So on the screen we've got this line, and we tend to operate at either being what we refer to being above the line or below the line. Successful students, like the student that I mentioned at the beginning who has skyrocketed in terms of what she's doing with music, and she's not the only one, she's just an example, operates entirely above the line, like totally above the line, and you'll know what I mean in a second. And the other student was the opposite, she was below the line. And it makes really sense when I say that above the line is where you're taking 100% responsibility for the way that you act and respond. This isn't to be misinterpreted with you being responsible for the stuff that happens that you've got no control about. But it has got to do with you being responsible for the way that you respond to the things that are going to happen to you over the next 12 months. It means that you take action. Because ultimately your HSC is about you taking action to do the steps and the things that you need to do to get whatever result you want. And fundamentally, girls, all of this is about you. And it's what we say is that you are at the cause of the things that are happening to you. So you've probably seen these students that doesn't matter what they do, everything just goes well for them. You know, like they just get all the good marks and everything just works, and you kind of secretly hate them a little bit. Unless it's you, in which case you go, what are you hating me for? Those students are always above the line. They're always taking responsibility for what happens to them. And let's compare this to someone who is below the line. The below the line person is at the effect of all of the stuff that happens to them. So what that means is that they get a bad result for an assessment task, and they get the result and they read the mark and it's like you got 12 out of 100, and it's a bad result. It's really bad. Maybe not, maybe it's the best, I don't know. But let's say they get 12 out of 100 and the below the line student will look at that and go, I hate the teacher. Teacher's no good. Mr. Viera is really no good. Or they'll go, you know what, I didn't get the assignment on time. Or I had too many things on. Or insert whatever number of excuses you want into the picture. They've always got the story because they're too busy blaming others to take responsibility for whatever it is that they've gotten. The above the line student is different. They'll get 12 out of 100 and they'll look at it and go, okay, what did I do to achieve those 12 marks? And they might go, okay, well the thing I didn't do was I didn't put enough time and effort into the assignment. I didn't get clarity on what the task required. I didn't ask for help. And they look at it and go, okay, this is a reflection of what I've gotten. It's got nothing to do with whether the teacher likes me or hates my guts. It's got nothing to do with anyone else except for what you've done. For you to do well in the HSC and for you to get the best out of yourself, you need to be operating at above the line consistently. And it's really important to look at not just how you approach this as a student, but also outside of school. Because what you're doing in school is going to be reflected in what you do outside of school. It's no coincidence that student A, who struggled throughout school, is now struggling throughout life as well, and student B, who was fantastic at school, is fantastic outside. It's not a coincidence. It's that one of them is doing something that's different to the other. One of the things that they're doing different is that student A over here that's struggling throughout is below the line. It's everyone else's fault. Student B, the good one, is totally responsible for what they're doing. Does that make sense, girls? Yeah? Alright, so, newsflash, as you take a deep breath in and go, wow. And this is the point where so many students look at me and go, alright Viera, you've gone cuckoo now. What do you mean it's not about the marks? Some of the teachers will, we debate this as well. The HSC is not about the marks that you get. I share this with my music students every now and then. Can you imagine if way back in 2002, when my beautiful wife agreed to marry me, Fantastic day. Great decision on her part, even better on my part. Can you imagine if the priest says, hey, Marcel, do you take Melissa to be your husband? Yeah, absolutely. Look at her, she's smoking hot. Of course I'm going to marry her. Beautiful one. Love her. And I say, yeah, I'm in. And then the priest says to Melissa, hey, do you take Marcel to be your husband? And she goes, yeah, well, hold on a second. What'd you get for your HSC? And I would have looked at it and said, what? What'd you get for your HSC? Because if you didn't hit, like, I don't know, what's a good mark? What's a good mark, girls? Oh, everyone's like, oh, you put me under pressure. Let's just say 80. I don't know. If you didn't get above 80, maybe I'm making the wrong decision. Can you imagine that? It'd be ridiculous. Yet, as students, we put so much pressure on ourselves for the marks that we're getting. And it's not about the marks. What it is about is the strategies that you put into place to get those marks. So if you get full marks for everything all the time, rock on. And if you get poor marks for everything, rock on, providing that you're doing the best that you can. Because I've met so many people now, and I've interviewed them, and I've coached them as one-on-one clients, and I've pulled apart their thinking to know that it's not about the marks. I know so many people that are phenomenal business people, and they flunked school. They were no good at school. I've met two that just come to the top of my mind straight away. I've met so many people that aced school. I'm talking like they were the ducks of their school, and their life afterwards is just full of regret and stuff not happening for them. Right? So it's not about the marks, but it is about the strategies. And this will come to light a little bit further on as I pull apart this a bit more. But I want you to think of the HSC as just being a big game that you are playing. All right? Now, in the game of basketball, as shown on the screen, there are some rules that you need to follow. So in basketball, you can only hold the ball, right? And if you want to walk, if I want to move, I've got to bounce the ball. Otherwise, I'm not doing the right thing. And the whole aim of basketball is to get the ball into the hoop, and the team that gets more hoops in wins the game, which is great, except if you don't like basketball. And there are plenty of people that don't like basketball. Or, more than that, maybe they're not really cut out for basketball because they might not be tall enough, maybe they haven't got the right hand-eye coordination, maybe it's just not their thing, maybe they're a soccer player. Maybe they're a swimmer, maybe they're a golfer, maybe they just hate sport and they don't even want to play anyway. Well, the HSC is a bit like a game where we've rounded you all up and we said, right, whether you like it or not, you're all playing basketball. And the basketballers are going, awesome, I'm awesome at this. But the soccer players go, well, can I kick the ball? And say, no, you can't kick the ball, that's a different sport. Well, can I play the other sport? No, because you're playing basketball. Well, that sucks. And the HSC is a bit like that because the way the HSC is built, the game of the HSC heavily revolves around you being great at reading and writing. And maths as well. Which is fantastic for the students that love the reading and writing and love the maths. But what about all the other students that don't necessarily like reading and writing and maths? What about them? Well, the way the HSC is set up is that we round them all up and we say to them, you're still playing this game regardless. Alright? And having already decided that somewhere along the line you're strapped into this roller coaster ride, you can either be below the line and blame everyone else and blame that I hate reading and I'm not good at writing and whinge, moan, or you can step up above the line and go, okay, what is it that I need to do to get good at this game? It might not mean that you're the best of the best. So what? Doesn't matter. What matters is that you try your best in everything that you do, because that is a far greater predictor of what you'll end up doing outside of school than whatever marks you get. Does that make sense? Yeah? Do we have any comments or anyone want to share anything? Does anyone completely disagree? No? Good. Good. All right. So, let me share with you some stuff that's guaranteed to not work for you. And it's guaranteed because it's got the red stamp of guaranteed approval. And it's guaranteed for the next 12 months, because after that you're finished and you're out of here anyway. So, top 3 things that students do that I found in my 15 or so years of teaching students, and I've had a far greater exposure to HSC before then, because I also did a lot of work with students before I started full-time teaching. So really, it's about 20 years of playing the HSC game and going on this roller coaster ride. And this is what students do that don't work. And at some level, girls, I'm reasonably confident that all of you have done at least one, if not all of these things. Number 1 is the strategy of overwhelm. Love overwhelm. Overwhelm is where you have too much to do and not enough time to do it, and you don't even know where to start. Right? Put your hand up if you're guilty of overwhelm. I love it. Who knows it like a real good friend? Yeah. If she needs to, you grab her hand and rank it right up. Okay. This is me doing overwhelm in the morning. I love to have a neat house, but it doesn't happen. But I love the idea of having a neat house, but it doesn't really happen. Because my girls love Lego, and they love eating stuff all over the place, and they leave a bloody mess all over the place. And so I get up in the morning and I go, right, what I want to do this morning, I wake up early, like sometimes I'll get up at about 4:30 or 5 in the morning, but consistently 5:30 I'm up and ready to go. And all I want to do is just have like half an hour to myself where I can eat my breakfast in peace, in the peace of my own home. But instead I'm stepping on a piece of Lego, or I'm running over a piece of leftover cake, and there's mess everywhere. And then I run the strategy of overwhelm, because the kitchen has got last night's plates stacked up. You know how the kitchen's got the sink has got a limit of how much it fits, and then you exceed the limit by piling stuff on top of it, and then you carefully balance the other stuff. So the wine glass from last night, if anyone walks in, it's going to fall over, but someone's managed to be there. And I go into overwhelm because I'm looking at it going, I just want to have breakfast, but I've got this whole kitchen and I can't even cook the breakfast because there's so much crap everywhere. I've got to clean it up. And then my daughters wake up and it's, oh, I've got to get them ready as well. Trying to get a 5-year-old ready for kindy in the morning when you're running on schedule. And so I do overwhelm. So I panic and I just go, I don't know what to do. So I just freeze. You know that feeling? And you just don't even know how you're going to get started. I haven't even started my work day yet. I'm just dealing with my kitchen, let alone what work's going to bring for that day. Overwhelm. We do it really well, but it doesn't work for HSC. The reason it doesn't work is because you're not taking action to do stuff. You're not actually moving forward in the direction that you need to be moving. And it piles up. And the best thing about overwhelm is that when you don't do stuff, it gets more. So if I don't clean the kitchen and do something about it, the following night there's more plates I have to clean up. And whenever you've got cockroaches running around, that's a good indication that, hey, you need to do something. But even then, you can probably push it a little bit more if you really, really want to. And I say it jokingly, but this is what students do, where they've got a piece of work, then they get another piece of work, and then they get another piece of work, and then they look at it and they go, holy cow, I've got so much work, I don't even know where to start. And they just kind of freeze. Alright? So strategy number 1, don't do that, it doesn't work. We do it well, but it doesn't really work. Here's strategy number 2 that students love to do. Procrastination. Procrastination is a fancy word for avoiding doing the stuff that is getting you overwhelmed in the first place. So procrastinating is what I described a moment ago, where the kitchen's a mess, and I just look at it and go, I know that you're a mess, but I'm just going to avoid doing you for the moment. I'm just going to go do anything else. I'll watch television. And hopefully, God will send an angel to clean up the mess. Or maybe Mama and Papa will clean it up for me. Or maybe someone else will do the assignment for me. Or maybe somehow a magic person will just wave their magical fingers and magically complete this assignment, and when I wake up in the morning, it's all going to be done. It doesn't work. So procrastination is where you waste time. You have less than 12 months before you're finished. Not finished like literally as in you're gone finished, as in you're finished school, right? You have 12 months. And year after year, I talk to my music class that I teach, and I say to them, hey girls, you've got 12 months. And like, you know, Neve, you'll agree with this. Neve's in my music class. And the girls go, what do you mean we've got 12 months? We just started year 7 yesterday, and you're telling us we've got 12 months? Oh, that's gone quickly. It goes really quickly. And it gets better because we've got some students in year 11 at the moment that are still going, oh, heaps of time. Just keep pressing that wasting time button. And they start next year and they go, right, I want to start year 12 now. And I think, well, you know, you've only got a few months to go. What do you mean I've only got a few months? I've not got a year. No, you had a year last year when we told you that you had a year. That's procrastinating, right? You're putting stuff off.